First, and I'll turn the tunes on.
Hang on. We'll see what happens.
Whoops.
Okay, here she
All
goes
right.
live on there. She's going up on Facebook, I think. Okay, we're coming up. For whatever reason, we didn't before, but I'm frozen on my screen, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. We're up on YouTube at the moment, and we're up on Facebook, but I'm not getting a full stream, but I can see comments. So, Mr. Music, please.
Mr. Music.
Okay, awesome.
Yay!
Hey, only
We're
two
back.
attempts, only two attempts tonight to make it on, and we're here. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. For some reason, every once in a while, my simulcast event doesn't seem to want to work properly, so I'm able to get out on one channel but not the other. That's why I had to reboot tonight. You know something? I'm gonna grab this camera for a second. I'm gonna spin this around, and I'm gonna show you a little bit about what I have to deal with. So here's my setup, and that's
Oh,
what it takes to run the show. So that's us over there on Facebook, and there's us in the center, and that's us on YouTube on the other side, right there. And that's my OBS software, and that's my main screen, and there's my windows that I want to open. So that's what seems to happen sometimes. Sometimes I don't get everything working in the right order, and that's what a live show is all about. So here we go.
yeah.
And I'll tilt that back up so we can see.
Yeah.
There, we're back.
There
Okay,
you are.
Oh,
Back.
we're live?
we're live now. Yeah.
Hi.
Anyway, here we go. Okay, so let's get started. So good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. And first of all, I'd like to welcome back our regular co-host, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moonshadow Observatory in Hampton, New Brunswick. Evening, Paul.
Hello.
And Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John, New Brunswick. Hey, Mike. And all of you out there, thank you for joining
Can
us once
he?
again.
Can he? I don't know where I'm supposed to be pointing,
Oh, that's okay.
but whatever it is, that's Mr. Chris
Oh,
Curran
me. Astronomy by the
from
Bay.
from
Hey,
Milledgeville,
evening,
Brunswick.
evening, guys.
Curran.
Okay,
Yeah.
enough of that. Okay, well, back in September 2018, Paul, Mike, Emile, and I, Emile Cormier, who was out of Bactouche, we were at a star party at Fundy National Park. And late at night, we were experimenting with a special camera in the eyepiece of my telescope, and we started to capture an image of the Dumbbell Nebula. And it was back in a time when live stacking of images was kind of new to us. And we thought back then that it might be a great idea to offer views like that online sometime. And that's where the idea actually of this whole show kind of started from. Was the origin of the show. We thought we'd do live stacking, but then we get into our maritime weather being what it is, and the fact that we're only online here once a week. We've only got 2 nights out of the last year and a half that have been clear for us to be able to offer something through the deep sky. So we had to evolve the show into more than just live sky views for sure. But the idea presenting live views is still on our minds, and today's cameras can accomplish that easily with the appropriate software. Also, capturing still images can be greatly improved by stacking those images. So we're going to take a look at how to do some of that tonight. Our turbulent atmosphere interferes with the fact that we want to take a photo of a planet or whatever. Taking 100 photos of that planet and stacking them on top of each other really brings out the value of that time that you spent. Also this evening, Mike's going to be here with another Bino Bud segment as he reveals more treasures that we see with just binoculars. And Paul is going to present another Rosanna's Fun Facts this evening as well. And of course, we're going to have all your wonderful photo submissions, which are about 25 of them actually tonight, to share. So sit back and enjoy, folks. Remember, this is a family-friendly live broadcast. So if you have any questions about the night sky, we're happy to try to answer them here for you. And let's get started with the look at something we call stacking. I guess that would be
Oh, didn't you have a video or something you were
Oh
going to
yeah,
show?
okay. So, oh yeah, I had a video. These guys are laughing at me because we did a live show the other night, and it was all videos, all videos. Yeah, and I filled up all the time, and they didn't even have a chance to talk. When I get an audience, I'm good.
He's good.
Okay.
And he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to present my screen here, and we're going to go with this one. And I'm just going to show you just a little quick clip. This is a quick one, Mike. So I know when I say quick to you, it doesn't mean anything, but
That says it's 20 minutes, 12 seconds long.
so I don't have any voices, but in the background here is Emile Cormier, our friend from Bucktouche area and Rask member, and we were capturing the dumbbell nebula with a live stack here. And we were taking that image. So this is the dumbbell nebula M27, and we were capturing an image I think it was every 10 seconds or so. And we were trying to take that image. It was 52 frames stacked to give us that image. Now, looking through the eyepiece, it's just a very gray, dull kind of an image, but you can start to get some color when you capture a photo and stack another one on top of that photo in every 10 seconds or every 15 seconds or whatever you choose to do. So here's where I was trying to go live on Facebook at the same time. And where we were in Fundy National Park, the reception wasn't real good. And we were just learning how to do this. So we probably went live a little bit too soon. But obviously because it didn't really present to the folks out there. But that's where we get started with the idea of live stacking and presenting that on an evening such as this when things improved down the road. So this was using the OBS software in the background. I knew I had to capture it, put it out on the broadcast software, and then distribute it out on Facebook. So we were just playing with all the new settings, and my battery died.
I got it.
And we decided to incorporate all of these things that could happen into our show.
We did,
So
Yeah.
for
and
six
it
months
happens.
of the show,
It happens,
anything that could happen, happened.
and it still
So we're
happens
used to it. So
every week. So that was the basis of the Sunday Night Astronomy show, and Paul came up with the name of the Sunday Night Astronomy show, of course, but the idea was to just offer live stacking of images, and we did do. I think our first one was back on March the 7th of 2019. That was the first test, and that was with Emile. And we did some live stacking on that date. And then November the 21st of 2019 was our second test, I believe. And then from there on, we moved into the program from there. Actually, tonight, this makes 375 live feeds I've done.
Wow.
Altogether.
what?
Yeah.
Not the show.
Not at this show,
No, no, no.
but I've been live on Facebook 375 times as of tonight.
Wow.
All 10 minutes each. I'll just be 10 minutes. I'll just be 10 minutes.
375 times 2.5 hours each, Mike says.
We call them Mr. 20 gig.
Yeah, that's why I moved my plan up to 20 gigs. So because it's because I actually went through and I added. I'm not going to add how many of those I've done so far, but it was 375, including these shows. So
Wow.
anyway, that's how we got to this point. But I'm getting a little bit more comfortable going live than I was, I guess, back in the beginning. But anyway, the idea there is to take that live stack, and I'm going to just get us back to full screen, and take those images and stack them on top of each other until you get a nice clear image while you're doing that live. So you can offer a live object in the sky and just continue to have that image improve over time. Paul does a lot of that now when Paul's capturing photons from a long distance away, or Mike as well, of course, and you're taking that image over a long period of time. It's basically collecting all those photons more and more as you build. Also, though, when you're taking a stacked picture, you may take 100 shots of Saturn, or actually you do a video, I guess, right? So you'll do a video of Saturn, and then that'd be say 100 frames or 1,000 frames, and it'll pick out the best of them because the air does this as you're trying to capture the reflected sunlight from Saturn from 2 billion kilometers away. So it's really kind of amazing that you can even do that, but
Oh, yeah.
the technology is just it's getting better and better all the time, and I can actually do live stacking now on my phone. So I can do it. I can take a video of an object. I tried it, and I haven't stacked it yet, but I captured a video of Saturn, and I wanted to take it and try to live stack it to see how it come out. So it doesn't matter as long as an AVI file, you can add it to it. So anyway, I'm gonna let you do that part of the talk, Paul. I'm working right into your talk now. So.
That's great. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is kind of related to what Chris opened up with, which is what brought us here in the first place, and that is what's called EAA, which is electronically assisted astronomy. And when it first came out, it wasn't really for, I mean, the software that was out there, depending on which software that you use, because you don't have to use a specific software to do this. You can use a lot of different softwares to broadcast electronically. But we happen to use SharpCap, and that's one I'm going to show you tonight, talk a little bit about. But the whole point behind it for me, and I think for Mike, and I think more for Mike than me, was that you can observe things the way that you think you can observe things when you buy your first telescope. When you buy your first telescope, the thing you're thinking is, oh, look at that beautiful picture on the box. I can't wait to see that through my telescope. That's going to be fantastic. Well, of course, there's nothing further from the truth than what you see on a box and what you see in a telescope. They're two totally different things. And the reason being is when we look through a telescope, the light that's collected from the telescope that we actually see in our eye gets processed right away, and our eye is not sensitive enough to process and give us color, and certainly not a whole lot of light either, because we process it too quickly. So when you look at a nice color photo on a box, that's something that was actually taken with some equipment that would take one picture, then another picture, then another picture, and that's how you get a picture. So when you're taking shots of Jupiter, Saturn, or anything like that, basically you're taking an AVI, you're taking your live video, that's what you're doing, and you're taking a live video really, really quickly. And the only reason you're taking it quickly is because Jupiter and Saturn and the moon and the sun are all very bright, so you only need very, very quick, short exposures. So you can catch up to, 1,000 frames in 60 seconds. You get 1,000 frames. So it's really easy to do that way. But when you're trying to collect data for deep sky objects like, Andromeda or, the dumbbell or any of those kind of nebulas that you cannot see color in your eye, you have to collect a whole bunch of them and stack them all up. Because like Chris said, what's happening is the sensor on the camera that you're using to do this takes a picture and it captures that light just like your eye did, but it's keeping it there. And then it takes another picture and it captures that light again, but now it's adding it to the light you just got a second ago. And then it takes another picture, it captures that light again, and now it's adding it to that's a third time. So if you do that enough, then what's happening is the sensor can actually gather all that light and put it all in a stack, and actually it's just like filling a water bucket. It basically, your eye, if you consider the water bucket scenario, your eye has a hole in the bottom of the bill. So when the water goes in, it goes through very quickly, but it comes right back out. But with a sensor, a camera sensor, when the water goes in, it stays there and it basically fills up. And that's basically what's happening. Is we're basically filling up our sensor with photons of light. And that's basically what happens when you're doing a stack thing. So what got me interested in the live stack was the fact that if I wanted to do what they call EAA, which is electronically assisted astronomy, I could come sit in my house. You have to have certain amount of equipment for it, but I can sit in my house. I can put my camera on my telescope outside. And if I'm tracking, if I've got like a go-to telescope that'll track the sky, I just pop my camera in there and I run a little laptop out there, and then I just Wi-Fi my laptop into my house. So I can sit here all night long and point at whatever target I want to point at. And if I want to take 15 minutes to let it build up enough light, well, as that's building up the light, I can be on my computer on one of my other screens and studying information on what it is I'm gathering light on. And what better way to be able to observe in full color images that you cannot do with a telescope? Not to say that the telescope doesn't have its place, because it does, and you need a telescope to gather the light in the camera to begin with. But as far as observing is concerned, depending on how you want to observe, And let's say, for example, you have some friends that are maybe less fortunate or can't get out or whatever the case being. Well, then you can actually get them to join you online on Google Meets or whatever form you use now, because everybody communicates on their computer, and you can share whatever it is you're doing with them. And that's exactly what the Sunday Night Astronomy does. Is Mike has that same setup in his observatory. I have that set up in my observatory. And we thought, okay, well, he's a knowledge guy. He knows all the stuff. And we just basically point at the things that are in the sky. So when we're doing it live, because we're live, you can say, oh, can you see M45 tonight? And we can say, well, if it's in the sky, one of us is going to be able to get that target for you. And so this is basically what the Sunday Night Astronomy show was supposed to be, was electronically assisted astronomy that we could share with everybody. And it wasn't because of the pandemic, because at the time, the pandemic didn't happen. But because of the pandemic, we've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
But we're all dying to get out and get back out in the field and actually show you, through the eyepiece, looking at these things and finding targets and showing constellations. We can do it here, but it's nothing like being outside under the stars. You can't replace that.
Yeah.
But the electronically assisted astronomy, it goes a long way for those who maybe want a little more from their observing experience. Maybe they don't want the hunt. Maybe they don't want to spend 15, 20 minutes trying to track a target down and finally get it and say, oh, I found it. That's the treasure hunt. Some people will say, well, you know what? I know all those things that are up there. I just want to push a button and look at it. And then basically now with this electronically assisted astronomy, I can look at it in color almost as good as when I look at it in the magazine. And that's fantastic. We can do that now. So the question is, how do we do it? So Mike and I use a program called SharpCap Pro. And what that is, it started out just basically as a planetary software where you can just capture the moon and so on and so forth, the planets and so that kind of thing. And that's what it was in the beginning. But now it's everything. You can plan sequences with it. So if you wanted to set up your telescope and maybe you wanted to shoot a deep sky object, you can actually have it set up and it will take if you get into astrophotography, you learn about dark frames and flats and all these things that you need to do to calibrate your images so that when you look at a picture, you don't have all these dust bunnies and vignetting in the corner and all these little hot pixels. All those calibration frames take all that stuff out. So it just leaves you with the goodness that you have, and you stack all that goodness, and that's when you get these nice clear pictures. But anyway, so it allows you to do that. It does both planetary and deep sky. If you want to actually take and calibrate your camera so you know what gain and offset and all those things that seem to be complicated, it's got that built into it. If you want to focus your camera, it's got diffraction spikes in there. You can set it up. If you want to do polar alignment, it's got the most accurate polar alignment you could ever imagine. So this software is so super powerful. And it's just getting more and more powerful all the time because they continually are upgrading and adding capabilities to it. So I'm just going to bring it up and show it to you. I'm going to see if I can find it first on my computer. And I'll put it on the screen that I can share. Whoops.
I'm going to spotlight you, Paul, here for a second too. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to share my screen. My entire screen. Okay. And let me know when you can see that.
Yep.
No, 1 second. I gotta take you off Spotlight then. Just a second. Spotlight ain't gonna work there. 1 second. Let's go to auto. Okay,
You're seeing Mike on
I'm
Facebook?
seeing it on us. I'm not seeing it on Facebook yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna pin. Okay, so there I got your topic pinned, Paul. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm good.
Yep.
Okay, so hopefully you're looking at this software called SharpCap, and if you look at the very top, it says SharpCap. This is an older version because this is what's on my computer here in the house. Typically, when I use SharpCap, I have my laptop that runs everything, and I just use the computer in my house to operate the one that's out there. So that's the one that I've got up to speed. But anyway, it's the same. For the want for better words, it's the same kind of principle. So what we're showing here first is Jupiter. I took that picture. No, I'm just kidding. I wish.
Taking it right now, actually, yeah.
That's a Damien Peach kind of picture. That's not my picture. But anyway, what this is a simulation of a camera and how you would use it. Now, what SharpCap does, it actually gives you the opportunity before you even buy a camera or anything. It's got this built-in simulators, so you can actually run through the program and see how you like it, to see if you think you can, can I run it? Is it something I can do? And what can it do? So, so the first thing you'll notice when you look up on the top is it says File, Cameras, Options, Capture Tools, Scripting, and Help. Well, I'm not going to cover everything here. I'm just going to kind of run through it quickly, but I just wanted to kind of show you where things are a little bit. So if I'm going to do a camera, the first thing that you do when you turn on SharpCap, and if you haven't got your camera connected yet, you're just going to have a blank screen. You're going to have what looks like this. That's all you're going to have up on your screen. So when you connect your camera, you're going to press on the camera button, and then whatever camera that happens to be hooked up, the software knows what camera is hooked up in your computer, and it'll give you a list. And then you just basically click on the camera you want to use. Well, right now I don't have a camera hooked up to this because it's on my computer in the house, but I do have a test camera for deep sky imaging, and I also have a test camera for high-speed imaging, which would be like planetary stuff. So let's look at that one first, because this is really what the software was developed for to begin with. And that takes us back to this picture. So as soon as you turn on your camera and you connect on whichever camera that you're going to use, it'll automatically turn on your camera. When it turns on your camera, providing that you're pointed at where you want to point at, and all that stuff, if you had set it up beforehand, it should be pointing. Let's just say Jupiter for the time being, because that's what's in front of us. So let's say we were pointed at Jupiter. On this side are all the camera controls. So basically, it's got up here, it says capture profiles. And basically, this is where you would kind of set it up so that if you want to set up a folder for all of your images to go, so that when it's done doing what it does, you know where to go to get your video files if you need to stack them and do that kind of stuff. You can do that there. This capture area here is just basically the resolution of your camera. This one is only giving me one resolution because it's just a test camera. But the cameras that Mike and I run, you can run deep sky with that camera. The cameras we run are the ZWO ASI 294 MC, which means color pro. So it's a one-shot color camera. But that camera has the capability of doing deep sky, so I can do very long exposures with it. But it also doubles as a planetary. You can collect video with it too. So it does both. It does both duties. So so when you're up in this capture area, this 1280 by 960 would be your resolution. If you're shooting something like Jupiter, when you look through a regular camera, is very, very small. That's a tiny, tiny little spot on most DSLRs, because your DSLR is going to have at minimum what they call a C size sensor, which is still a good size sensor, and Jupiter is very, very tiny. So Jupiter will just primarily be a dot on it. So that's why they have specific planetary cameras, which have very, very tiny sensors, so that you can fill the frame, or not fill the frame, but at least make Jupiter a lot bigger in scale to that sensor, so that when you blow it up, you actually have some resolution to work with. If I tried to blow up Jupiter on a DSLR camera, by the time I got it big enough to see it, it would just be all digitized because it's just too small and it can't resolve, right? So that's why you've got this capture area up here that you can actually change the resolution. So when Mike and I are capturing planets instead of deep sky objects, we can shrink that thing right down to, say 690 by 380 instead of our normal 4144 by 2822. So, and the reason we want to do that is because we don't want to waste photons on black space, which is all you're going to be recording. And your download rate will slow down extreme, because you have to push through that kind of, like 20 megapixels, trying to push that through instead of maybe 8 or 6, right? So if you're shooting with a smaller sensor, it's less information. Less information will travel quicker. So that's why when you're doing planetary, you can do 60 frames or 1,000 frames in 60 seconds, because the resolution is so much smaller, and now they're using USB 3, so it streams quicker anyway. And so that's basically what that does up there anyway. The color spacing right down there, that's just basically if you want to run 16-bit, depending on what your camera is. You could have a 16-bit camera, you could have a 14, you could have an 8, who knows what you have. But whatever it is, just choose your color spacing that you need. And if you want to run mono, which I do for my moon shots, I don't shoot the moon in color on this. I shoot the moon in mono, because then it's just faster transfer rates. It's easier to set up. And I find mono is easier to get a better dynamic range from. So that's what that's for. Then you get your camera controls. So gamma, which is just basic, like if you're looking at a histogram on, Photoshop or something like that. The gamma would be almost like all that mid-range stuff in the middle, versus say the dark blacks on one side of it and the extreme whites on the other. So the gamma would be sort of that middle stuff. So when you're trying to set up your camera so you can see the moon or whatever it is you're looking at clearly, that gamma is designed so that you can get all that stuff in between to come in nice and clear. Then it's got output formats, and the output format is right now, this was only giving me AVI, but it will also give you SCR. So there's 2 different video formats that you can record in. Most of us use AVI because that's what we know. But some of the software that you use, like Auto Stacker, they recommend that if you can use SCR, to use the SCR because it tends to work better with their software. Then you've got your frame rates. So you can go maximum, which is whatever the fastest rate possible you can choose with your camera. And where did I lose that frame rate? It was just in front of me. Oh, there it is. And or you can choose how many frames a second you want to do, or you can set it up so that I want to take a picture 1 every 10 minutes or 1 every 15 seconds. So it gives you lots of flexibility as to how you want to capture things. So the smaller sensor you have, the faster the rates will change. So I kind of leave mine on max most of the time, unless I know I'm only going to get 7 or 8 or 9 or 15 frames a second, then I'll just put it on that because that's what it's going to do anyway. But anyway, those are the different download rates is what that is. Exposure, well, it's just the same as if you got a camera and then your pictures are dark and you want to make that person brighter, you turn the exposure up. Well, that's the same thing that does. Then there's testing controls. They have just basically offsets for like random noise, focus offsets, things like that. That most people don't get into those kind of things unless you're really, really, really diving in deep. Image control. So here basically is you can timestamp your frames. So every time you shoot something, it'll actually put the timestamp rate on it. So when you look back at your video as it's coming back, it'll have the actual little clock up in the corner telling you, what time of day it was you shot it, how long the thing was. It'll give you a little timestamp of what you did, and that stays on your video if you want to use that. Pre-processing. So this is where we talked just a little bit about those calibration frames, where you need dark frames to take away a lot of the hot pixels and the general noise and stuff that sensors create. Then you have your flat frames, which take away if your image circle from your telescope doesn't completely fill the sensor, then sometimes the corners of your sensor will be a little dark, like it's what they call vignetting. So the flat frames take care of that. If you get a bunch of dust and stuff on your sensor, it'll leave all these little donuts all over the place. The flat frames take care of that. So those are the things that are called calibration frames, and that's what those are for. So if you do want to go ahead and get into that kind of stuff, if you're actually recording and you want to do an imaging session and you want to have as clean as picture as possible, it's all set up to do that, which is really, really nice. Also, this one doesn't show it, but you can actually you can control if you have a camera that is cooled, because a lot of the cameras we use today, especially for deep sky, they need to be cooled to keep a lot of the noise down and keep them constant. And so you can control your camera's cooling system with this. You can control. It's just amazing. You can control your telescope with it. It's actually, you can hook up and do plate solving with it, where basically you just tell it where you want to go, and it tells your camera, or it tells your scope kind of where to point. It finds you the spot, takes a picture of it, and it It compares that picture to a database of a bunch of pictures, finds the star pattern, and it says, okay, this is where you are, but to be center, you need to do this. You need to move it here, and it automatically does it for you. So when you do a plate solve, it puts you exactly where you want to be. And the advantage of that is, first of all, it makes your life so much easier. But the other advantage of it is that if you're doing multiple nights of imaging and you want to go back to that same spot exactly every night, when you do plate solving, say I'm on night 3, and because it's rained for 2 nights, I didn't bother opening the roof. But on night 3, it's nice out. Okay, great. I've got the same setup in there. I've got the same orientation. I'm just going to hit my plate solve, and it's going to go right back to exactly where I was, and I can commence with taking more data. So so it does all that for you too. So it does a lot of things. This display stretch. This is where you would. I don't know if you're familiar with out there with stretching data or using curves in Photoshop or GIMP or whatever your software choice happens to be, or Lightroom. But what curves does is basically it's almost like levels where you've got a complete 0 up to 256 and anywhere's in between for those different shades of gray. And with levels, you're basically moving a middle slider up, back and forth, a black slider, and then a white slider, but they only go in one direction. That's all you can do. But with curves, what it does is it gives you that same line, but you can actually push it up at any spot that you want. So you can leave two things in place, put a little point on something, and then move just that little spot if you want to. It's way more flexible than levels, and it'll get you to where you want to be without disturbing a whole bunch of everything. With levels, you've got 3 controls. With curves, you've got basically as many dots as you want to put on that line. That's how many controls you have. So curves is very, very powerful. But anyway, that's kind of what this is. So if you see what I'm going to do here, we're looking at Jupiter. And if I grab that little slider in the middle, and if I push it towards the left, what I'm doing is I'm taking that gamma area or that middle area, and I'm actually pushing it higher and higher and higher when I put it to the left. If I push it to the right, and see what's happening with the curve? That yellow line as it starts to go up in the center, because what it's doing is actually stretching it. It's pushing it higher and higher. If I go the other way with that curve, look how dark it gets. And look what happens to the curve. The curve inverts. It actually goes the other way. So you can get an idea with what a curve does. Now this one here only allows us to do the center. It allows us to do our black point, which is just the dark areas. And it allows us to do our white point, which is those extreme brights. But if I had a true curve, I could put a point right on this, and that would lock anything from here back, so it wouldn't do a darn thing. But anything forward, I can move, because that pin, what that does is it locks that into place, right? So if I wanted to find a specific spot on this I wanted to enhance, then I would put pins on places that I don't want to adjust, and just find that spot that I can adjust, and that's the only thing I would move on a curve. That's the strength and the power of a curve. It's really cool that way. So anyway, so that's basically what this is, and this is just your display histogram. This does nothing for your image. Where your image is affected is by the histogram that's up here. When I turn this on, and you see this big histogram down here. This one here, when I adjust that one is actually going to make adjustments on the video that I'm capturing. The other one is just like once I've got the video set up with this big histogram, then the other one basically is just so it's just a monitor. That's all it is. But this is the big daddy of what this one is. This one is just so what you can see clearly. This is the one that you would adjust so that whatever data that you're collecting on your sensor, this is the one that makes that adjustment. So that's the big old histogram here. So that's a rundown on this side of the controls and what they do here. How you run and capture data is really, really quite simple. As complicated and as complex as this could be, they make it really easy for dummies like me that need real simple stuff in the beginning. So if I wanted to say capture an image of Jupiter, I would have it on my screen. I would go ahead and set my gain and set everything up we just talked about on this side. And I've got my Jupiter in there, and it's nice and clear. And I can, everything is just, okay, beautiful. Now I want to capture this. So then all I have to do for a quick capture is just go up there, press my capture button. and I hit my start capture. Before it actually captures a frame, it's going to ask you some questions, really simple questions. It's going to say, do you just want to take one single frame? Do you want to just have unlimited frames until you decide to stop it? Or do you want to tell it how many frames that you want to take? And that's what this number of frames is. So if I want, say, a stack of 2,000 frames, then I'll just type in here 2,000. And I'll make sure that my little dot is pushed over here. So now this is the selection that I chose. And I can actually perform a sequence of captures. So if I want to do 200 frames for 5 minutes and then do another 200 frames for 5 minutes, let's say, for example, I'm doing a mono camera and I'm doing red, green, and blue filters. I might want to capture the blue frames first, and then I might want to stop that, and then I want to change my filter, then I'm going to do my red frames, and then I'm going to do, so that's if I'm going to do a monochrome for filters. So you can do that. Or if there's a certain sequence that you want to capture, maybe you're watching the moons cross the face of Jupiter, and here's actually a shadow right here. So if I want to watch that happen, I don't want to film it until it's done because, you won't have enough video data. So you might say, okay, I want to image that for, maybe 100 frames. And then I want to stop for 3 minutes. And then I want to shoot another 100 frames. So then you can take all those individual stacks, put them all together, and you can do a nice sequence, or you can just run the video and do a sequence right across and watch things move across Jupiter. So that's basically what that would be for. But if I just want to capture Jupiter with 2,000 frames, I've got my number of frames I want. I've got the 2,000 frames I want to do with. I'm just going to hit start. When I hit start, you look down the bottom corner, and you're going to see where it says capturing, and you can see that the frames are capturing quite quickly. If I look over to this side, it says I'm capturing 11.2 frames per second. This is the amount of time that I've got into the sequence. This is the amount of frames that were no good. Right now it says 0 drops, so that means it's capturing all the frames. But look how fast it's going through. I've got 300 frames here in a second. There, 300 frames already. That's how fast I captured those frames. So to capture 2,000 frames is not like going out with your DSLR and spending all night to do it. You're going to do this in a matter of, well, let's see how much time it takes. We're at pretty much 500 frames now. So far, we're only 44 seconds into it. So you take 45 SA times 4. It's going to be 180 seconds. What's that? 3 minutes. 3 minutes, and I'm going to have 2,000 frames. That's friggin' crazy. But that's the advantage of using a high frame rate camera and a small and quick. So when that actually finishes up, and then we'll just let it go. It's only going to go another, not even a minute. I'm going to have a sip of coffee while doing it. And if any of you guys have any questions, by the way, throw them in there if anybody is asking anything.
Oh, I just want to say we're at 8:45.
Oh my gosh! Okay, wow, where'd that go? Okay, I'm going to stop this.
There were a few questions along the way.
Okay, I'm just going to stop this. Stop capture. Okay, so when you're done, you're going to get this green thing on the top, and it's going to show you how many frames you've captured and where on your computer did you decide to send that folder so you know where to go get it to process it. So it's just that simple. Now the other kind of thing you can do is deep sky. So if I go deep sky, then you can actually capture things like this one here always shows Orion, but anything that's deep sky. So I won't get into that. It's the same procedure on this side. The only difference is with deep sky is you're actually taking longer exposures and it takes longer to get that data. I did actually capture some data. I'm just going to turn this off now. Or no, I'm going to leave it on just for the question, just in case I got to show somebody something. But I'm not going to show it tonight because I don't have enough time. But I did capture some data and on Orion through SharpCap on a night that we were doing some show or something. I can't remember. And it came out like unbelievable. It was like, wow, really? I did that with with image stacking. And from there, I was hooked on the stuff you can do with it. So it's cool. Okay, Chris, go ahead. What's the question?
There was one from Renat. Let me see now. What generates the heat in the camera? I guess was one question.
And well, it's the sensor itself, and it's going to generate an amount of noise. Plus, there's a lot of ambient temperature. So in the summertime, your camera will, your sensor will get you'll deal with a lot more noise because it's hot to begin with. And it's the heat that's generated inside the camera body and inside the sensor and all the electronics that are working that creates that noise. And so there's thermal noise and there's all kinds of different kinds of things that happen because of heat. So when you're using a cooled camera, it's actually got a thermal cooler built into it, and you can decide what temperature that you want to cool it down to, and it stays stable. So if I want to be at, say, minus 16 degrees all night long, nice and cool, that'll keep my sensor nice and cool, and that'll keep my noise levels down. So that's the reason why you would get a cooled camera versus a non-cooled camera. I hope that answers that question.
I think so. I think the only other one she had was you're setting up rendering filters before capturing the image with the curve.
No, filters are something that you do differently. Curves is not filtering. Curves is just adjusting the data that you have. So it's just like when you're taking a picture of your grandson, you put it on your screen, and if you're trying to make his face a little bit brighter or a little bit darker, maybe you want to take care of some shadows. Maybe you want to add a little more darker. It's like whatever you want to do. That's basically the job of the histogram. That's what it does. There's no filtering there. The filtering takes place at the optical side of the train. So if you've got a camera that's monochromatic, or if you've got a camera that's not, it's a one-shot color, you can put specific filters in front of it that'll accent certain things in the sky that you want to capture.
Awesome. Gee, too bad you didn't know your stuff. Make the rest of us look fools. Anyway, good stuff.
Okay, so anyway, we'll stop on that. We'll pick this up again.
Yeah. Okay.
Other time, because there's a lot to kind of go over with this, and we can kind of do this in sections.
Sure.
Because it can be a big topic for sure.
We can take a 15-minute astrophotography segment each week if you want. That's up to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. As long as people stay on board with us, we're good. Like whatever you'd like to see. Robert Cadet was saying
anything. I'll even show some skin.
Oh, burnt skin. Robert Cadet was on here saying, "This is great stuff, Paul. I'm following around here on my PC, so he must have SharpCap on his PC. So he was as you were going along. That's another good idea is for those who have SharpCap to follow along. Yeah, because
you can download it for free, a free trial.
Yeah.
And we could do that one night if everybody want to do that. Download it, and then we'll just do like a tutorial right online.
Yeah, could do that.
Good
sure.
Idea. Yeah.
There. Well, that was Robert's idea, but.
Well, whoever's idea is good idea.
I don't take credit for nothing. I'm good. I'm just happy to be here. Okay, maybe what we'll do is thanks, Paul. That's like there's so much knowledge in your head just floating around like that just bobbles off your tongue. That's the part that amazes me. Like you're so knowledgeable on this topic now that it just comes natural to you, like just as easy as pie, So, and Paul, anyway, the knowledge level is there, just incredible. So. Yeah, like Lisa says, mind blown. Yeah, for sure. But Paul is very good at advanced astrophotography as well. So some of the stuff that you've produced is just amazing. And
thanks.
Anyway, okay, let's go to a few photos then maybe, because I know we got some people here that are probably wanting to get to see their photos, and then we'll go to Albino Bud, and then we'll go to a Rosanna if we get time at the end. Okay. So let's see if we can squeeze in some photos here. Because I got a number of them to show too. Well, we needed a 2-hour show, or maybe 90 minutes.
90 minutes, maybe that's
maybe 90. Maybe you got to go to 90 minutes. Maybe you can. What's the poll out there? Tell us. Should
89.
Should we go to 90-minute show program, folks? Let us know.
89.
Because we're chewing up an hour. We're chewing up an hour real fast every time we're on here, and
oh yeah,
it just
topics can be so darn long.
Yeah. They can, and we're trying to cover what you want to see. So, okay, so let's let me share my screen first of all. We'd like to get your feedback on that though, anyway. So we're usually on here an hour before the show starts, and we're usually on an hour when the show ends. So, just to go over stuff. So it doesn't matter to us. We got no life. I got no life. You guys might have.
We're here anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's open up with a few photos. We got this one from Renat. Renat sent this one in, a photo of a new moon and Venus caught tonight, she says, in the western sky around 10 p.m. Wasn't tonight, of course. That was the night that she sent it in. taken with a handheld iPad Pro in Back Bay.
Nice.
Awesome.
Shine, eh?
Earthshine in here, yeah.
She said Earthshine is visible with bare eye. A couple of peepers still calling. Awesome.
You're done.
Great.
Okay, I'm getting lots of comments here, so I'm going to go back and read those as soon as we're done the photos. Let's go ahead to David Smart sent these in. Photo of you. He said July 12th tonight was not a very good night, and I could see you were in the same situation I was when we were trying to capture Mars and Venus, or Mars and Mercury. No, it was Mars and Venus, wasn't it? Yeah, Mars and Venus in the evening sky. So he got this one. Of course, the crescent moon and Venus sitting there.
Nice.
And
well done.
He got Mars and Venus sitting here.
Yes, sir.
Through binoculars, was it? Did he say?
No, he. I think he's using a 6-inch Dob and a DSLR, Canon DSLR.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And there's this nice sunset. So we got
beautiful.
Getting a few of these too. Like these are nice. If you want to throw these up, folks, we're happy to see because the sun's a star. So I'm happy to show them. If it makes everybody else enjoy them, then that's great. That's what we're here for. And another shot of Mars here by itself. Yeah. And he's offered us a shot of the moon as well.
Beautiful.
He sent me a few shots of the moon. I can usually only get on a few from each person, but we had a bit of room here tonight, so here's this moon at first quarter.
Looks like it was a little cloudy or something.
Yeah, I think, yeah. These ones came from, so thanks very much, David, for those. Kathy Adams. Actually, that other one, I think that was from Cheryl. Was it not? No, that was from David as well. I got them mixed up here. Okay. Got them in the wrong order again. This is from Kathy Adams. Kathy said the sunset tonight didn't pan out, but just before sunset, this was a view facing east from our side porch. If we can't have
colors.
Yeah, if we can't have clear skies, she says, at least the clouds were beautiful tonight. So
very nice.
Look at that one.
Oh wow!
Awesome.
Love those clouds.
That's amazing.
Nice. Very nice. There's Cheryl's. Okay, so Cheryl Stevens. Best I could do, she said, with the clouds in the sky, even they were worth looking up for. So, yeah, I mean, we've had some bad skies out there right now. It's looking pretty crappy, and I think the rest of the week is actually looking not the best. So
that's a nice day moon there, right?
Yeah, it is. And I wanted to mention too. Well, once the photos are done, that all these photos, of course, are going into the moon contest that's going on right now as well. So if you did submit a photo of the moon and one of a planet, then you get 2 entries for the current Shoot the Moon contest, which ends on the 28th, I believe. So we should have some time between now and 28th to get at least a clear sky or 1 or 2, hopefully. We're going to the Stefan Picard's pictures now.
Oh, nice Milky Way.
Nice Milky Way. And now, you know something? I didn't
copy.
Stefan sent these in, but I didn't get his notes on these.
Actually, no, he's south there, isn't he?
He was looking at, I'm sorry, but I don't have Stefan's
right there.
I missed
There's
his
your
notes.
one, Chris. There's your favorite.
What's that?
There's your favorite right there.
Oh, yeah, it is. Look at that. Look at that. I think he did pen a joke on that as well. I got emails coming in from 7 different locations now. I gotta cut that back to a couple, but I mean, I always show just the Sunday Night Astronomy show, but I get them on my Facebook page. I get them emails from my regular account, and anyway, they're coming in from 7 directions. Sometimes I miss the notes every once in a while, but I know these were Milky Way, of course, in Cygnus area.
Nice Lyra up there too, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Awesome. Thank you, Stefan. And I'm glad I put the names at the top so I know who they are, too. That helps. I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting old.
Oh, look at that moon Jamie put up.
This is from Jamie Wynot. Yep. I'm going to just blow that one up a little bit.
Yes, please.
There we go. So that's for her 8-inch Dob.
Nice.
Very nice.
Beautiful. She said, I took this one on Tuesday night. So awesome, Jamie.
Beautiful.
Well done.
And,
congratulations on the clear sky.
Yeah. That's the part that counts. Okay, and we got this one here that she took of Saturn as well.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice.
There, so yeah. There's the ring.
There they are.
That's what they...
You can even see the Cassini on that.
Yeah.
See, right?
Yeah.
On the right, you can see it.
Right there, yeah. So it's... I mean, they're coming up now earlier and earlier. August the 2nd, Saturn will be at opposition. August the 19th, Jupiter will be at opposition. So that means that when the sun sets, Saturn rises, so it'll be up all night. So as we get closer to that date, the Saturn rises earlier and earlier each night. So it's starting to get in a pretty prime position right now. So from now until the end of August, for sure, you'll be able to get nice views of Saturn
Wow,
and
nice.
Jupiter. This one came from Jeremiah. Okay, I got
Remember.
Jeremiah's notes. So Jeremiah says the Andromeda Galaxy, M31 and M32 and M110. There
Yeah.
they are, there and there. Actually, there and there, yeah. And he said the image on the left was a 6.5-minute exposure, and the one on the right was a 14-minute exposure. Polar alignment appeared to be off just a bit, but M31 is so far away that it made little difference, that's for sure. And the wide field shots, of course, of Andromeda. I mean, this is what you want. You want it and its satellite galaxies around it too. I mean, you're looking at 1 trillion stars there, right? That's.
Did he say what you got it with?
He may have. No, I didn't get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like a camera lens.
Yeah, it does.
But I maybe not. Anyway,
Maybe,
nice.
we're looking for comments. There they are. Stefan. Okay, Stefan. Yes, maybe you guys can watch the Facebook comments because I think some of the folks that had photos here are on here tonight.
Oh, okay.
Stefan might be able to comment on his shots if you would, Stefan. That'd be great. Okay, we're back over to Jamie and then Jeremiah. And next up, there's another one from Jeremiah. He said so he was focusing his camera. Yes, it was camera. And he caught a meteor shooting through.
Yes, he did.
So, yeah, right by Andromeda. So nice shot.
Very good.
And they're going to get more popular too as we move our way into the coming meteor shower. From here, we went to Patty Millette, who sent this one in. She said this was the new moonlight that she got.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're cool, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen them with the little stand. They're kind of neat too.
Yeah. They're cool.
Awesome, Patty. This one, of course, is from Renat. She sent this one in. This is Full Moon with Mare over St. John, a recent painting now framed. And she said it's still available for sale, currently at the St. John Art Club. So this is the Uptown St. John. Like, the way that she's done this is just incredible abstract, and it's just, like, it pulls you right into the picture. Hi, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's an
So
awful
much
big.
up there. So much up.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, I love the paintings. They're amazing. Well done, Renat.
Yeah.
This one comes from Bridget Green. She says, hi, Chris. Sunset over First Lake.
Wow.
No rush to show this one on tonight's show. Last minute. That's okay. We got it anyway. And it was
Beautiful.
taken actually at the beginning of the summer. Beautiful sunset nonetheless, for sure.
Wow.
We've got some beautiful sunsets here, for sure.
Oh, we do.
It just takes that bit of cloud in that sky is what really makes it. I mean, we hate about cloudy nights, but I don't mind if it's a cloud like that during sunset, for sure. From there, we got Lisa Ann Fanning's photo. After the party, she said, the other night, I went up to my office window and took some photos of the moon. And
Wow.
what made it on appearance, she said, the Lunar X.
Yep.
Made it there. And,
On there.
you know, and Lunar V. So there's the X down here.
And the
There's
V.
Lunar V right up there, Lisa. So you might have missed that, but it's right there.
Scroll down to the bottom for a second. She might have the L on there as well because it's all at the same time. It's right in there. Yeah.
Right in there. Yeah.
That's where it's at, but a little bit next crater down.
Next crater down.
Yeah. That's where the L comes from, that crater right there, the
Okay.
dark one. So
Okay. Awesome. There you go. Lunar
Nice
X, Lunar
cap.
V. Nice
minutes away. Just minutes away.
cap. Next up, Robert Cadet sent this one in.
Nice one, Robert.
Yep. Beautiful shot, Robert.
Look at the Apennines. Just pointing.
Yeah. I mean, he's
Yeah.
getting,
Shooting in colors. Too.
yeah,
Yeah.
just amazing. And yeah, I mean, there is color on the moon. We haven't, most people don't think about that, but it's just incredible detail
Wow.
there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
The shadows. Crazy.
Love that stuff.
Nice
Oh,
photo.
and down here especially, right? The shadows in here are just incredible.
Yeah.
There's a snowman, or the tilted snowman.
Yeah.
The tipsy snowman, I call him. And he also had one here of the straight wall, I think, which is right there. Look at that. Look at that pound
Sure did.
out there.
Nice contrast.
So that's a 110-kilometer fault line on the moon. So just because of the way the sunlight is coming in on this direction, it's really just a very gradual slope. It's not a cliff at all, but because the sunlight comes in this direction, kind of at a sharp angle, especially right beside the Terminator, it looks like it's a long cliff. But you can see it's kind of like a sword shape there. So it looks like a sword, but that's called the.
So I wonder what the height is from the top of that slope to the where it goes down to the bottom. How high up that is.
I know it's not much. It is like a 5-degree slope kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the distance. We can look that up. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to check it because it's just casts such a cool shadow.
it
There's
is.
got to be, some height difference. So.
Yeah, yeah, there is for sure. Yeah. From there, we got this one. Let's see if you guys recognize this one.
Hey,
What's that?
that, that looks like the cat. That is the cat.
Yeah, I
Now,
took
if
that.
you look at the bottom,
Yeah,
there's the tail hanging.
yeah, right there.
Yes, sir.
And then if you look up the top,
There's his two eyes.
two eyes. Now that
There's his
could be
ears.
an owl if
Yeah.
you forget the tail,
Yeah,
or it could be a bat because if you look at the long, narrow crater just above it,
right.
they look like bat ears.
Yeah,
Very,
right there.
very.
Yeah.
You see them?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that there is what we deemed it to be the cat.
The cat on the moon. Yeah.
Yeah, cat in the moon. Cat,
So
cat.
yeah, I went back to the Fundy National Park when I captured that other video. I said, wait, now we did the video and we had the cat, so I was trying to find it. So
Yeah.
I brought that on for you guys. So it was a pretty special night to see that stuff. Yeah.
It was. We had.
Oh
a
yeah,
blast.
and these ones came from Kathy Adams. Kathy says, "Hi Chris, I take all the pictures and manage Mayfield Gardens Facebook page here in St. Stephen. Now this new garden piece just came in, and I immediately thought of Mike. She says, now we just need a name for the frog. There we
Bud.
go. Bud. Look at him.
That's cool.
Love
I
that.
got the answer to your question, Paul.
What?
The straight wall ranges from 787 feet to 984 feet.
Wow.
From
Wow.
the very top down the slope to the very bottom.
Almost 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
Wow, that much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow, that's amazing.
1,000 feet. Yes, sir.
Well, there's
Okay,
something
and
now we know.
this is something else I wanted to mention. Our friend on here, Lisa Fanning, has her own Facebook page now, and it is an astronomy-related page. Lisa has been getting involved in astronomy fairly heavily, so I wanted to bring up her page as a recommendation for people to go follow. She has some great information on her page.
Yeah.
She's just getting started out, but she's already got about 600 likes in a very short time. So and this is one of the things that I kind of really was impressed with what she has on her page. And this is a chart, and she's going to do this every month. So here's Lisa's Look Up. That's the name of the page, what to look for in the month of July. So she has all the main events coming up in the month of July. And she has the date and times. The time is in Eastern time. But over here she has a nice kind of thing. So it's a seeing tool. So if you see the two eyeballs, that's naked eye. If you have the two smaller circles, that's binoculars. And the third one is telescope. So for instance, Venus and Mars conjunction is visible with your eyeballs, binocular, and a telescope.
Right on.
But when you get into lunar X, you're really going to need binoculars or a telescope to pick it out. So really nice chart, like really awesome,
good.
awesome.
Well
stuff.
done.
Well done, yeah, Lisa. And then she's at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So congratulations, Lisa.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work, and I'll be sharing your posts too. So, and I think that's where we ended up. I think. Sure. Yep. No. Oh yeah. Okay. And where to send your photos? So send them to snas@astronomybythebay.ca or send them to my page, Facebook page, or into Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com. Those are the three addresses that I check out the most. And thank you all for all those great photos.
Yes, fantastic.
So let me get out of this, and I will stop sharing. And we're looking at some of the comments here. People were talking about, we were talking about the 90-minute kind of thing. And we got a few here that I'm going to go through these after we're offline here, because we got to get into some more material here before we sign off tonight. So we're going to go with Albino Bud, maybe?
Yes.
We got time to fit him in?
I think we do. If everybody doesn't mind, we got a few people saying 90 minutes. That sounds good. So we'll go with the Albino Bud for sure tonight.
Alrighty. This is one that Bud found, and it's kind of not a whole lot of people know about it. So, binocular target of the week by Bono Bud this week is going to be Stock 2 or the Mustang Cluster.
Gee, well, that's me. Okay,
That's what I look like and what I think I look like. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's the mirror, and that's what you think you look like in it.
All right, Stock 2 or Lund 71 is also known as the Muscle Man Cluster. Is an open cluster of 54 stars in Cassiopeia. This is one of 24 open clusters compiled by Jürgen Stock in 1950s. So, how to find it in the sky? If you went out just about midnight, because I'm doing these at midnight because that's when it's actually dark, and look 30 degrees north-northeast, you look up, you see the W of Cassiopeia. Many of us have looked down to see the double cluster. Well, you come down about halfway between the two and a little bit to the left, and you will find Stock 2. And it's actually easier to find than you think. A little closer shot, there's the double cluster that we always look at, and it's just to one side of it. It's also known as a strongman in some cases. So it's something that, you're looking at the picture going, well, do I see it? Here's his head. There's the arms coming out just like E.T., his body coming down and his legs. And if you don't see that, maybe you see this part. So it is there. And you can actually make it out, from the stars in the background. And again, if you look closely, there's the double cluster down here. It's kind of on its side here in this picture, but there's his arms and his head.
Yeah.
And comes down to his body, and he's kind of sideways.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like E.T. Once you see it, bang, you see it. Yeah. You go, wow, it is. It really is. And that's what it would look like in a set of 10 by 50. So it's rather large because you can see the whole double cluster, and you can catch that. It's a pretty big target, actually. If you look at the full moon and you look at that cluster, which if you look at these 4 brighter stars, that's basically the outside edge of that 52-star cluster. It's larger than the full moon. And you can really make it out against the background stars. So that's our Bino target of the week. That gets rid of light pollution pretty quick.
I love it. Wait, you shot those lights out.
That's our binocular target of the week by Bino Bud.
I want his address.
Yeah.
Or email, I mean.
Yeah.
I get something for him.
That was a target I came across. I didn't even know it was there.
I had no idea.
Wow, that's cool. So I'm working on a new list of targets that are all asterisms, and that was the first one.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
So
do we want to save Rosanna for next week, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, yeah, because you still got some wrap up to do. And
yeah, okay. So I just want to be sure that there's no questions before we do sign off, because we do say it's interactive. So I'm just going down through YouTube here, taking a quick look. Enjoy the Decline says, hey, did you guys hear anything about a massive UFO object entering our atmosphere today? Never heard a thing. Maybe I wasn't listening for it, but Mike.
It was silent.
It was silent?
It was silent.
Didn't hear anything about it. Yeah, no, I haven't heard a thing about it, but I'll see if I can find some links on it when we get off the show. If there's something interesting, I'll post it. Why not?
We wouldn't see it in New Brunswick through the cloud anyway.
True enough, yeah. On Facebook, any questions here? Just looking to be sure. Question for Paul: can you use Sharp Cap to restack a previously cleaned, processed, stacked image? Unwind the process. I don't think you can you, Paul?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I was trying to wrap my head around the question, but
no, you can't bring an image into Sharp Cap. It's an imaging capture software.
Oh, yeah.
But so you can only go the one direction. You can't bring an image into the software and try to stack it. No.
Yeah. It's as it's coming in, you got to process it. So yeah.
It's doing the stacking as it's coming in. Yeah, the info's coming in.
So I think like a lot of the votes that I'm seeing here are saying 90 minutes. You know something? We don't want to run to 90 if we're going to lose everybody at 60. But we're having a hard time lately cramming everything in. And I know tonight was a little bit late starting with my server connection, which I'm going to have to go to something new by next week. I can't have that happening. Anyway, we're not sure if we'll go 60 or 90. We'll discuss it between us and see where we are. But if we do have more material and you're still willing to stay with us, then maybe it is going to be a 90-minute kind of thing. Maybe it won't be 90 minutes every week, but it might be 90 minutes if we want to get into a topic like Paul get into tonight. There's a whole lot more that Paul can share with that topic. We just touched the surface of it, right, Paul? So, we can certainly take a whole show on astrophotography and actually several shows on it, on just on Sharp Cap alone. One whole show could be that. So we have an opportunity to make it, but the idea is that it's interactive for you folks. So you guys have to let us know what you want. Like if it's something that you want us to go to 90 minutes for, then we could probably look at 90 minutes, maybe not every week, but some of the weeks we could if you have a longer topic and you're willing to stay with us. I'm looking at online right now, and looks like we have a fairly good audience that's still staying with us. I know that some people after an hour they have to split, and that's understandable. We appreciate you being here that long for sure. But if it is a 90-minute show, then it is a 90-minute show, and we'll just see how the material approaches for each week. So if we have a topic that might take a little bit longer, then we might put our shorter topics at the front and then use the body at the end, and we'll go into the time frame that we need, kind of thing. So, because there's lots of explanation. Go ahead, Mike.
I think if we call it a 90-minute show, it's getting that into a 2-hour show. So if you leave it as a 1-hour show, it'll go to 90 minutes.
Yes. Something like my live feeds, Mike.
We call it blooper reels.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, maybe it'll be like if it's a longer topic and we think we're going to need more time for it, then we'll put our shorter topics at the front, like our photos and our Bino Buds and that kind of thing, or maybe we'll even leave some of them out sometimes. The photos I like to get because I do love getting those, and we love sharing your photos, and we want to see you continue doing that. That's why I encourage everybody to bring their photos in, and also don't forget, this is the basket. This is the astronomy prize. This is the gift basket that we're giving away, the astronomy goodies basket. All you need to do is take a photo of the moon. Any photo will do. Camera, iPad, hold your laptop up and take a picture. Whatever you're going to do to take a photo, send it in to my page. I'm listing them all, capturing them all. Send them in whatever way you can get them to me. One photo in gives you one entry, only one entry per person, but if you take a photo of a planet as well, like Venus is up in our evening sky, we'd never know it now ourselves, but it's up our evening sky in the western sky just after sunset, so that's up. Jupiter and Saturn are up in the evening sky in the southeast part of the sky. So one photo for moon, one photo for the planet, and share the contest, and you get a third entry. So that gives you 3 entries opportunity to win that basket, and 2 one-year subscriptions to Sky News Magazine, because I know not everybody can pick this basket up in St. John. So you might want to exchange it out for one of the one-year subscriptions. And also, even if you've entered a contest before, maybe you want to gift that away to someone else, a friend in the family or whatever. I don't care who you give the subscription to. It doesn't matter to me. I just have to give them the name, and that's the person who gets it. So it's all up to you. If you want to give it away to somebody, if you already get Sky News and you want to give that to someone else, that's fine too. So with that, I'll stop babbling because I tend to do that a lot. And we're going to try to wrap up our show because we're now past... Yeah, we're into over an hour, of course. Okay, there we go. Well, that's not good. Bad. Okay.
Well, considering that we didn't really get on until after quarter out, we're right on time.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, actually we are, aren't we? Yeah. So we should flub up every week at the start. No.
So Rosanna, I've got for this week is a really good one, but we'll carry it over till next week.
Yeah.
And so we'll see Rosanna.
You will. Thank you. And thank you, Rosanna. Okay, so in closing tonight, thanks again, folks, for all your support. We really do appreciate it, seeing this many people online with us on the Sunday night. It's awesome. We know that other people don't have a life just like us, so great. Of course, this is what we're doing until we get back to the in-person stuff like Paul mentioned. So we're really anxious to get back to the in-person stuff, so that's going to come soon. So we'll see how that all goes, too.
But I thought that was Saturday nights.
That might be Saturday nights, yeah. And thanks again, of course, to Rosanna. But we didn't get to your topic tonight, but we will get to it next week. But thank you very much for your contributions. And as well, everybody who shares our live feed that we are on this program, we really do appreciate it. We also like to thank everybody for sending in your photos, too. So if you want to send in more photos, send them into SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com. And we would be happy to show them next week on our show. Or send them into my Facebook page. That's another way. We're also looking for suggestions for topics for future shows. So if you have some ideas, Bino Bud came from this. I mean, that's why we got that as a regular segment now, because someone had suggested, could we talk about binocular targets? So, and I think we've covered pretty well every topic that people have suggested pretty well. So if you have another interesting topic you'd like us to cover, just let us know. From there, I'll take page 2. Also ask that if you enjoyed I can't memorize all this. I should be enough. We also asked if you enjoyed the content here tonight and you joined us from YouTube, please consider giving us a like and subscribing to our channel. And please let your family and friends know that we are here every Sunday night to mostly entertain you, but also to talk a little bit about astronomy and educate you a bit on the night sky. So for now then, from from Mike and Paul and I, these clowns with me, stay safe, everybody out there. We wish you all clear skies, and we hope to see you again here next week. And remember, as we like to say, guys, keep your scopes pointed up.
Lighten up.
Next slide.
Thanks, everybody.
Next slide.
Next slide. Okay. Good night, everybody.